Good evening. Welcome to another episode of Keeper's Corner. We're here Tuesday night. And Dan, how are we doing?
Hey, doing well.
Good. I mentioned we're here on Tuesday night. We postponed this tonight due to some high-octane, high-entertaining Monday Night Football between the Packers and the Eagles. Some explosive MVP quarterbacks going back and forth to a 10-7 battle.
Oof.
We won't get into that right now. But more importantly, we are here on Tuesday night. So it is the 11th of November, Veterans Day.
Yeah.
So first and foremost, thanks to all you veterans on behalf of Blackhawk TV. Appreciate all you've done. Coach, any veterans you want to single out real quick? I mean, obviously all of them, but yet.
Sure. Yeah, obviously all of them. I always think back to, I always was very interested in history throughout my whole life. And I remember talking to my grandfather, Bob Keefer, who fought in World War II. He was in Europe. Yeah. And I always wanted to hear, him talk about World War II. And he really never, ever would speak about it. Mm-hmm. He, I think, saw a number of crazy things. Of course, he was injured. He had different times he got Purple Hearts. I think he also got I believe it's called the Bronze Star, which is a pretty significant achievement, for valor. And, the way they lay everything on the line to protect us. And, I think everybody should certainly should respect that.
Yeah, it's
huge sacrifices.
It's weird. I was there, been to Dachau and been to that stuff in the concentration camps, and just chills.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Which is what allows us to do this, allows us to have fun with sports.
Yeah.
And the Blackhawks are now one of 4 teams in Division 4 that get to participate in a football game this week. Because last Friday, we went down to La Crosse, made a trip 2.5 hours down southwest to UW La Crosse to face Aquinus. Aquinus, one of the teams that's all year long was top, if you will, like number 1 ranked, going to be the 1 seed, and kind of marched their way to the quarterfinals last week. And then they saw Baldwin Woodville come into town. And what transpired on Friday night?
Well, it was a really good football game. And, they were obviously a very high quality opponent for sure. I was kind of blown away by I thought the support that we had at the game. I felt like we literally had more fans in the stands cheering for us than the home team did, which was pretty amazing. And I think that was a big, I think that's really cool for our kids. I thought we played, a really good defensive game. Offensively, we had a couple struggles, but what we did is I think we were patient. I thought like Joe Jensen in particular, he didn't have a great statistical game, but what he didn't do was make the big mistake. Like he's really poised and he's okay with throwing the ball away, and that's just so rare with a high school kid. I'm super impressed with that. Not turning the ball over was a big deal. And that's very well proven in football. If you take care of the ball, I mean, you have a great chance to win the game. We had some real good stuff on the special teams. Obviously early on in the game, they kind of had that rugby punt where they were kind of probing to see if they could maybe sneak it, and still get a first down. And last second, the kid didn't think he could do it because I think he's right. He wasn't going to get there. And then, we got that turnover and scored on the short field. I'll tell you, that first score, we were very fortunate because it was like 4th and 1 or 4th and 2, whatever it was. And they dialed up like, it's almost like they knew the play call. And they were right there in the hole, and somehow Dane made 2 guys miss. And then he went in and scored, and that was huge, getting that lead. I thought our spice package was really effective, which was huge in the game. Dane had another, we hit him with a nice little power that popped. And I think Dane had another long 55-yard run or whatever it was. And then, Jimmy made an amazing interception in the second half. That was just, it was great because, he's a real smart football kid. And he just, out of the corner of his eye, sees this guy coming and he just goes back. And that was one of the best plays you're going to see, a high school defensive end make. That was just huge, So those are the three, set up the three touchdowns. We kind of stopped ourselves with penalties, and we have to clean that up. We just, you can't do that at this time of the year against good people. Mason hit another big field goal, and he drilled that son of a gun. That was right down the heart. And I thought our punt game was really solid, and our coverage was good. So, thrilled with those things. So, it was a very good game. I mean, it was obvious that Aquinus was very talented. I mean, they were very athletic, by far the most athletic team we've faced in some time. I mean, that's a pretty good outfit. And, but yet I really feel like our kids we have a lot of grit and a lot of confidence. And like when we get into that fourth quarter, I just feel like our kids know that we're going to figure it out. We're going to find a way. We're going to make the stop, or we're going to get the score. And that's exactly how the thing unfolded. The defense had to get the stop. And, I also thought in that fourth quarter, I think we had a drive that went about 6 minutes. We ate some pretty good clock. I think we finally got a penalty that kind of killed that little drive. But, that was a big deal, not giving them a bunch of possessions. They had that one possession, and we were able to get the stop, and then we could take a knee, and that was a pretty exciting thing. But very good team, and congratulations to them. They did have a heck of a year.
Yeah, and a very, very good team all around, both offensively, defensively, special team wise too. How much advantage is it? And there's no knock on them on where they play, but playing in Middle Border Conference, when week in, week out, it's a grind. You had 2 games this year come down to whether it was last possession or find a way. It was at Altoona, you had to score and then get a stop, and then Prescott,
yeah,
kind of the same deal, where you've been there, done that.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, we're back. We're comfortable doing this. How important is it to be in a conference like the Middle Border where it's a daily grind and battle tested, if you will?
Absolutely. It's a big deal. And I think, the Middle Border is really good football. And I also would say that the Middle Border has excellent coaching of football. We didn't face teams in the Middle Border that were maybe as talented as Aquinus, but and Aquinus is a very well coached team. Don't get me wrong on that. But we see really, really good stuff just about every week in the Middle Border. And I do think that it helps you to improve because you see what people that have good ideas and they do things, and all those experiences, you kind of put them in the bank. And then, when you play people from other parts of the state, you kind of withdraw those things from the bank that you've kind of learned over the years, because you see a lot of stuff. There's a lot of really good coaches in our league, and it's certainly a lot of good players too.
So then let's go defensively first, because I think kind of the defense again stepped up huge. It was 2 scores the first half, 1 the second half. We talked about their screen game and being more disciplined. We've talked in the past about how it's discipline of know your role, whether it's triple option, you got fullback, you got quarterback, you got pitch man, and allow someone to do your job. This week might have been a little different when screen game is, hey, as much as you've always been taught, go get the ball, go get the person carrying the ball, sometimes you got to lay back and think, they're allowing me to do this.
It's too easy. It's too easy.
Which was kind of like Jimmy's interception was like, whoa, stay here, intercept it. So talk about the discipline of your defense to adapt to knowing their role, doing what's best for the team, to get a victory.
I give the kids a lot of credit. I give the coaches a lot of credit. Spent a lot of time, and we had a fairly good understanding of when they were doing things, out of certain formations and personnel groups. And we did quite a lot of, we had some calls, some alerts, pre-snap alerts, and the more you communicate, the better you are. And then when you see it post-snap, and you got a quick thing you can holler out, and boom, we get more bodies to the ball. Because we did a nice job. We didn't really allow. It wasn't perfect. They threw one. They did a version of a little tunnel screen with to a one receiver side. We'd never seen them do that before. So they got us a little bit on one of those. But a lot of the other stuff, I felt like our kids were really ready for, and they did a good job of identifying. And the kids put in the time watching film. I knew last week. Tuesday, I put together a like their core plays. Hey, encourage the players to watch these because there's so much stuff they do. They do everything under the sun. And then I remember coming to practice Tuesday and just listening to a lot of our seniors calling out, Brady Hansen, Brody Everett's, Jimmy. They're all. They know by formation. They're already pretty locked in. So it was quite obvious to me that they were in a good spot early in the week, and we just kept, tightening that up. So yeah, I think there's a lot that went into that effort. A lot of guys contributed, and scouts did an awesome job giving us a look. And we actually had personnel groups. Like we had dudes with numbers, their actual numbers. We had white uniform, white jerseys, and we personneled it. So that was kind of cool.
Nice. So then offensively, not the high octane Blackhawk offense we've seen throughout the past few years, but yet still a good number of points.
Yeah.
Yardage wise, not again extreme,
right?
But also again, like I said, different. Where it came down to the fourth quarter, you sustain a drive. We've seen it before. We're okay. We can milk the clock, and put the team in the best position to win, so they can adapt to doing different things.
Yep.
But I want to know one thing. You called a timeout. I think it was the fourth quarter. It might have been third down. Can't remember for sure. I think Joey was kind of beside himself. Did he call that double pass?
Actually, the story goes, I think JT Dockel said to Joe, we should do the throwback. And then Joe brought it up in the timeout and said, hey, we should throw the throwback. And I was like, I thought about it for a second. I said, where are we at on the field? I'm looking over and I'm thinking about it. And all right, we're going to let's do the throwback. So I give those guys credit. Maybe it should go to JT or maybe it was Joe. But yeah, they wanted to do it, and it's like there are a lot of times if you just listen to what the kids want to do, sometimes they just have a good sense. So yeah, that worked out. That was a big first down and allowed us to. I think we got a couple more after that too, if I'm not mistaken. Maybe at least one more after it, but that was a big conversion.
That's trickled on effect of like maybe it started with JT, maybe it started somewhere else, but like
who knows?
Just believing.
Yeah.
Hey, we can do this. We have this play here, and
yeah, that was literally a thing we put in last week. That has not been practiced a lot, to be honest. But we got lucky on that one. So
that being said, like how much time do you spend on we'll say like specialty plays? Like we saw the weird formation with them, maybe probably 8 times or so, I'd say at least, where they had that receiver way back in the backfield.
Yeah, obviously.
My philosophy, like Jeremy said on broadcast, is if you're the better team, here's who we are, stop us. Mm-hmm. But yeah, you still, every team practices an onside kick. Yeah, you don't want to ever be behind where you need it, but yet you still got to practice it.
Absolutely.
So how much time is spent on stuff like that, like trick or unique plays where, hey, gotcha plays?
You know what? We've had years when we've devoted a time and done them and, practiced them a lot. It just like when it comes down to it, we just don't do a lot of them. We just don't. So we haven't practiced a lot of them. That's not to say that we don't have any, but, we kind of
Practice makes perfect.
Yeah, we kind of didn't do our thing. So
Okay. So came away victorious again. Obviously, leads us to level 4.
Yeah.
State semifinal.
Yeah.
Finds a common rematch of last year in Winneconne.
Mm-hmm.
Not going to Medford this year. We're going to Marshfield. Winneconne went down there last year, took care of business. I think it was like 40-16 or something like that, I want to say. But yet they only had a handful of seniors, we'll say.
Mm-hmm.
Bring a lot of their team back.
Yes, they do.
Undefeated, the last 2 undefeated teams in level Division 4 face off. What can we expect from Winneconne outside of, is it Brody Schaefer?
Brody Schaefer.
Brody Schaefer. Outside of Brody Schaefer, we'll go there first, and then we can talk Brody Schaefer. But outside of Brody Schaefer, what are we expecting from Winneconne?
Well, what you have is, I believe they lost, I think it's 3 starters from last year's team. So they are a senior-dominated team. I see a team that's an athletic team. They have a very, very good defensive and offensive lineman, 71, Samolinski, I believe it's pronounced. 6'3", 280. He moves very, very well. Good athlete. I believe he's a scholarship kid at like Illinois State, if I'm not mistaken. They have good athleticism, very, very good at safeties. They have a lot of kids that are about the same size as our kids up front, and I see a lot of similar athletic traits in their linemen. They do a lot of double teaming offensively, and they have been really impressive moving people. Like, we got the Freedom game from last week. Freedom has some big dudes up front, and they were getting really good movement. So I think it's a huge week for us up front, to hold up at the point of attack. They're a very, very good team. They really are. I mean, they got a lot of they've played many good teams, right? I mean, they beat Little Chute, who's still playing early in the year. I think they play some other pretty solid teams. I know they played Fox Valley Lutheran. They've had some tough games too. I mean, they've been in some battles. They've been in some grinders, right? So I feel like, unlike Aquinus kind of had been cruising, and really I don't think had been behind. These guys have been behind a little bit. I mean, they've had some adversity that they've dealt with. So I think that's something for them too. But yeah, they're a talented team. And then, the centerpiece of the team is Brody Schaefer. I mean, Brody Schaefer is one of the best athletes that there is in the state of Wisconsin. For those who aren't aware, he's committed to playing football for the Iowa Hawkeyes in the Big Ten. He's going to be a receiver. Plays quarterback for Winneconne. He's just a special athlete. I mean, he really is. He's fast. Got some nice size. I think they list him at 6'1", 190. I thought he was maybe a little taller than that, but yeah, when he gets going, you get him going downhill, he's a handful. And he has developed as a quarterback, right? He's throwing the ball much better than he did last year, right? He looks better. Has a lot of confidence, it appears, in his receivers, and they're spreading the ball around. They're utilizing more kids, which offers some challenges as well. So yeah, I mean, but there's no doubt that he's the guy. I mean, he's definitely, everything's going to go through him, and we have to have a really, really good game tackling. I think tackling in space will again be probably the key to the game. It's going to be another great opportunity, a great test, because this is a good team that they've won all their games. They got a lot of good components. They can throw the ball. They can run the ball. Athletic on defense. Very athletic at safety. Good up front. I mean, they're a good team.
Obviously, you get down to the Final Four. I mean, it's going into last week, we had 8 teams left, obviously, and we talked about how pretty much any of those 8 teams could potentially win it.
Right.
I think I said in a broadcast to Aquinus, don't get mad at me, but I felt like Baldwin versus Aquinus, I said they could play 10 times and one team would win 6 times. I said, I don't know which team it would be, but one of those teams will win 6 times. I still want to go 5-5. So that's just too easy, but it's just where you're at right now. And it comes down to, again, little things of don't turn the ball over, don't beat yourself up with penalties, do the smart things, throw the ball away instead of trying to fit it into something, make a stop, live to see another possession or another down or another sequence, and just go from there. How much is it advantage, disadvantage to play a team in the semifinals this year, same team as last year?
I like it. I mean, that's good. I mean, you have familiarity, they're going to do things differently, I'm sure, and we're going to do some things a little differently too. I mean, it's not like it's going to be a cookie cutter, same game. We don't have the same
Personnel.
Yeah, same group of kids, right? So, but I do think, it does help. At least I like it when, it's somebody that you've played, because you feel like you have a little deeper understanding of what you might, some adjustments or things that they might wind up doing. So I like that personally. So yeah, I mean, I don't know. It works both ways. They can look at us and think the same, I'm sure.
When it comes down to like game day or preparation or like more game day, does Coach Keefer have any superstitions? Do you have anything like that, or do any coaches have any weird superstitions you want to mention? Like, I know some coaches will never wear pants; they have to wear shorts because they're whatever. Or is there something that?
I know I have some. I know some of our coaches are. Coach Furman is he's very superstitious. Like he's got the same. You got to eat the same thing or wear the same stuff. I guess I'm not really that superstitious. I mean, I'm really not. I mean, it's coaching, it's getting guys ready to play, and because I'm wearing
green underwear
versus gray underwear, it doesn't really it ain't going to change. It isn't going to change the outcome really. So no, I guess I'm not that superstitious. But there are things that I don't know. It's weird. I do like the routine. Like, earlier in the season when it's nice, I really enjoyed getting out and golfing, and I kind of just like that. But it's like, hey, if it's, like we had one of the Fridays not too long ago, we were going to play, and it was, snow flurries in the morning. We bailed out. It's like the superstition can only go so far, right? So I'm not going to go out there and play when it's 37 degrees and sleeting out. But so I don't know. I mean, I like to keep a routine, but I wouldn't say it's superstition.
Okay. All regional team came out this past week, I believe.
Yep.
I think we had 6 slots, 5 players make all regional. I'm thinking correctly, if I do my math right. Do you want to mention all regional team? Sure.
So the guys that if you're select, you got to be all region to be considered for all state. Okay. So the people that we're talking about are, that's yet to be determined. Trevor Murdoch was all region as an offensive lineman. Trevor was also as a defensive lineman. Okay. Staying with the offense. Jimmy Kropelnecki was all region tight end. Brody Everts was all region receiver. Flipping over to the defensive side, Dane Veenendahl was all region as a defensive back. Drew Vienendahl was all region as a defensive end. And then, of course, I already mentioned Trevor making it as a D lineman. So it was a nice showing. The way it really works, if you're within all region, if you're at the top, then you have a much better chance, obviously, to make all state. And I think they vote on that November 17th. And to be honest, when they vote, they will look at teams that are still playing, teams that are still alive, and that certainly helps your chances of making all state. And so I would certainly expect that some of our kids will get recognized. And it's one of those deals where the way all region works is there's no discussion. Coaches fill out stats, information, team stats, and then you literally have like 200 characters to describe your player, which isn't much, right? Especially if you have a kid that's a 2A player, so you literally, it's like sometimes the punctuation's out the window because you got to try to squeeze as much in as you can, because people will literally, that's the coaches get the stuff in advance and then you vote in advance. And then if there's anything that anyone thinks is really out of line, then there can be a discussion, and if there's ties, then you got to break ties, so but yeah, it's kind of an interesting process.
Kind of like as we move backwards in that process of the all conference, it's like you can name many people that were deserving of all conference,
right?
But yet you can't have them all. You could name a few that are very deserving of all regional, but yet all regional is pretty broad. It's a lot of people in there. A lot of teams in there. So it's not like Baldwin should have 15 guys, which 15 guys might be deserving. But also,
I will say this, like the conferences that we're with, it's us, it's the Heart of the North, the Cooley, the Dairyland, the Scenic Bluffs. Some of those are pretty doggone small. You know what I mean? They're really small, which is okay. I'm not saying that smaller conferences don't have good players, but there's a difference between Division 7 and Division 4. I will promise you that. So
right. Last thing, area-wise, I know maybe a tough loss last week. Rice Lake did fall short to Notre Dame, I believe it was.
Yep.
If you will, Rice Lake, but River Falls won.
Yeah.
And I consider Northwestern to be kind of local because they're kind of our section for basketball. So they beat Grantsburg.
Right.
So, and then I think
Northwestern's good. I've seen them on film. That's a good outfit.
And as is River.
And they've been knocking on the door, and they just haven't ever made it down there.
So does River have Notre Dame this week?
That's going to be interesting.
So, and then I think some smaller ones to the east of us, but those are still remaining in the Final Four for D7, the final 7 conferences or divisions in football. So this Friday, Marshfield, 7:00 tip-off. Blackhawk TV will be there, I believe. Tip-off again. I say tip-off. Sorry, I've transferred.
That's all right.
I've been to basketball more now. 7:00 coin toss. We'll do that.
Kickoff.
It's probably before that, but anyway, whatever it is, 7:00. I'm guessing there'll be a fan bus and a student bus. Hope they find their way there to Marshfield again. This team deserves it. Cheer them on. Get them back to Madison one more time. And if you can't make it, Blackhawk TV will be there. But no reason not to be there. Beautiful weather, sounds like.
It'll be unbelievable.
And let's go get one more.
Sounds great.
All right.